It's the only night I can do that.
You could do that any night you like, but gosh, with that intro, I imagine the inspiration is that much stronger. I love that
Oh
intro.
yeah, I love that intro. I have not felt any need to change that intro since we landed it. So oh, goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to Seven Kinds of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki, and with me tonight is really, of course, is my co-host, the one and only, the Mad Doctor of Disaster and Destruction, Adega Outlaw. Welcome, brother.
Welcome.
And we've got a new sound setup here on Mornings of Mischief and Seven Kinds of Mischief. We have dispensed with the USB bullshittery. I still have a USB mic hooked up, but the headset is now analog. It's running through a Sound Blaster A7. We will see if this makes any difference at all. If it does, then I think we're safe. If it doesn't, well, then on the 21st when payday happens, I will throw down with a new XL mic and we will go completely analog. So right now we're kind of half analog, half USB.
Never had a problem with Sound Blaster at all, and I've had several of them, so I think you're going to be good.
I hope so. It's gone pretty much unused since I bought it, since everything goes HDMI through the GeForce RTX. But I've got that A7 that has sat there and not been used since I bought this computer. So here we go.
I wanted to say thanks to Louise. She did a nice Twitter, showed off her new book that she purchased from Amazon.
Oh,
yeah. Things are doing well, and I appreciate all your support and enjoy it because there's a lot more to come. And hello to everyone who said hello in the chat.
Heck yeah. And hello. Thank you, Luis, for getting the Blood Witch. My copies are on the way. So when I get them, I'm taking pictures of them.
It actually was her second copy of Evolution. She got the hard copy.
Nice. I'm gonna have 5 Adega books.
You're
just
crazy.
For me.
You're crazy.
I've got 2. Well, no, that's 6. 6. Okay, so I have 2 copies of. We share a copy each of the original Evolution that came out that you did initially. And then we've got 2 copies of Evolution on hardback, and which is your second edition. And then we've got 2 copies of the Blood Witch coming. So 6 books.
I was just telling Louise, thank you. I didn't need a big commercial. You're nuts.
Guys, get your copies of Evolution and the Blood Witch. There is a link. In fact, we even have this. The Blood Witch, a dark high fantasy novel by renowned author Dr. Adega Outlaw. Get your copy of The Blood Witch, which is on sale now on Kindle and Amazon.com, or just click the link in the description of this video.
When I first showed him that, it was a lot quicker. He slowed it down and put his voice over it. And I got, you know what? Gotta trust him. He knows what he's doing, so.
Get your copy of The Blood Witch today on Amazon or Kindle. Just click the link in the description of this video.
I hope to get El Gonza out within the next 6 months. I don't want to tax my artist too much, but it's ready to roll. Well, almost. I still have to get has to go through the Library of Congress, but it's pretty close. But
anyway, there's the link for The Blood Witch. Thank you, Chris Bergia.
Chris is another cheerleader. He's at every one of my Sunday shows and says nice things. I appreciate it. I do. I wish I had more for you today. I'm working on some stuff, but I just I don't. To be honest with you, I'm not feeling real good, and I shortened up what I was going to do, and I'll save it for another time. It's some interesting stuff, and it fits more the mischief, not the real dark stuff. You noticed the past couple months I've been avoiding that, but it kind of gets into some of it again. I wanted to cover actually some current news about something that we talked about a year and a half. It was almost 2 years ago when I brought it up last time. And most of you, if not all of you, have probably seen it and noticed that I've been tweeting, well, yesterday excessively about it. The Georgia Guidestones have finally met their demise. And I think it's, in the past couple of years, and it hasn't just been the United States, it's been around, where these fascists have been going around and tearing down monuments, not realizing. I even seen some of them deface war monuments that were Muskegee guys, not knowing that they're actually going against things that they say that they're going against. It just shows that they're supremely ignorant. And usually a statue or a monument or something isn't necessarily celebrating the person, but helping people remember history. It's like a grave marker. Whether the person is good or bad, there is that person. And it's something that we should not forget for the lessons that were learned. And these people don't want to learn. So having these monuments destroyed or moved or what have you, in my mind, is not necessarily a good thing. But I find it really hard not to rejoice to see this thing come down. Those of you who may not, and I don't think there's anyone that will be surprised with this, but the Georgia Guidestones were put up in the 1980. There is now, it's starting to become myth more than fact about what had happened. All we know for sure is that there was a lawyer who was approached by someone who said he worked for a group. But even that isn't sure. Some of the original stories was that he came out and said he was an individual, but they wanted to put up the stones as a monument, and the lawyer agreed and kept his quiet, was not allowed to reveal who paid for this. And now in the recent years, their story has evolved to where they're saying it was a Christian who commissioned this. Now I'm going to read to you again. If you go back, you'll hear what we talked about before about the Georgia Guidestones. It's all those dark secret society things that want to manipulate humanity to whatever there is. But there are 10 things written on several different languages on the Guidestones, or were, thank goodness. But here they are. I'm not going to discuss them. You could just picture in your mind what this is. But we'll start with number 1. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolve external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love. Seek harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. In other words, this talks about a eugenics program where those who are left are ruled by a few and the rest are told to shut up and obey. That's what they said in several different languages. Well, 2 nights ago, when we found out about it yesterday morning, there was a little bit of action that took place. And we have actually, as of a few months ago, well, I think it was almost 2 months ago, 8 languages. Yeah, I thought it was 7, but someone decided to do the world a favor, and Loki has the video. Look, there's our chat. That's all of you. And they think this is the getaway car. Probably is. But the aftermath is that picture that I gave you as well. There it is. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. But it became so unstable because those are massive granite slabs, 13 feet tall, I believe. So they were left completely unstable. And the county came in and took them down so no one would be hurt by it in case they decided to fall. A truck came by and shook the ground just enough to have one of the pieces fall over. So it is now this, left in ruin. Again, normally I'm not someone who objects to the destruction of monuments, but when this one is abjectly against human individualism and life, and the people that support this have been in our faces so hard the past couple of years that I don't blame the person who came in and destroyed it. Not one bit. And I should be upset that something even that represents something I'm completely against is destroyed. For some reason, I'm not really that upset about it. And I'm in solidarity with a lot of people that are beginning to stand up and fight against this stuff. If you guys haven't seen in the Netherlands, it's completely shut down. The farmers were told to stop production, and they're telling the people that the production of food is down because of the war in the Ukraine, and it's not. It is all artificially done. And here in the United States, we've had over 100 different food processing plants that have been destroyed, crops, cattle that have been killed off in massive numbers, all to raise scarcity in food prices. Netherlands, in case you guys don't know, is the number 2 food producer in the entire world. United States is number 1. And to have them shut down, and Germany's following suit, is sending a big middle finger to these people who are trying to tell you that you're supposed to eat bugs and you're supposed to like it. The same people who are buying up all the property of the people who are losing homes because it's manufactured scarcity of wealth and of prosperity. So when I saw those come down, I'm kind of glad to see people stand up and make your voices heard, that we will not be subject to global fascism. People seem to think the Guidestones going down is a blow against globalism, but it is a blow against the elites, or the elites destroying the evidence. That is quite possible. That is very, very possible.
Thank you. By the way, Classic Comics, thank you for that $5 super chat, brother.
Well, we don't know the motivation. Either way, the representation of something that was put up in the 80s is now gone. Yep.
Doss Wolven says, I come from a family of hunters and have a freezer full of deer at all times. They can suck it.
Well, the ones that are going to hurt are the ones in the big cities that are dependent upon the grocery stores. When they go to the grocery stores, well, food comes from the grocery store.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they're going to have pain.
Unless you have someplace out in the wild, you're screwed.
Right. But unfortunately, they're going to have pain either way. What the globalists are doing, or the temporary inversion of power and people trying to put it back into the hands of the people. Never has it been more successfully done so than the United States. But in the process of these things going down now, I would offer my support and hope that you do yours for those people in the Netherlands and in Germany and Italy and various other places that are the farmers are going out and saying, no, we need to produce. This is our not only our livelihood, but it's a way of life. And we want people to prosper, not to be subjected to your murderous ways of poisoning various different means, starving other means, and having people removed from their homes forcefully because they cannot pay their rent due to artificially created inflation and shortages. So I'm all for the fight, but get your storage and your goods while you can. And like he said, have a freezer full of food. We don't know how long this is going to be, how bad it's going to get. But support each other. That is the way through it. They have been spending the past, even before the 80s when that sign came up, they've been spending the past 50, 60 years trying to divide us, make us point fingers at each other, to hate other countries, to hate your neighbor. And I'm here to say, enough is enough. So what if you have a disagreement? If your neighbor is hungry, you feed them. If you are hungry, you bear it and help where you can. Give shelter where you can, support each other where you can, and let's get through this and make sure this never happens again. That's all I had for tonight. Like I said, I got some other things that I'm going to prepare for next week. I think you guys will find it interesting. Anyway, what were you asking?
Bill McCracken says socialism didn't work after the fall of it in Eastern Europe and Russia and China. They had to adapt in order to go on as they have today.
The neat little trick that they did, and this is especially true from China, is that they kept their communism, but they used the marketplace of other prosperous nations to fuel them. If they were not getting support from the United States to begin with, it happened in 90, where they were given favored nation status for political reasons. They were about to fall. They were ready to collapse at that point, and they were saved by politicians in the United States. All of this grief has come because people having their back pockets greased. It has to end.
Agreed.
Exactly.
It has to end.
Exactly, Pattis. Exactly. Managed by who? It told you on the guidestones before they blew up, by a small group, and it said no needless bureaucracies, meaning you don't govern yourselves. You have a ruling body, basically a monarchy of each individual state.
I believe it was our current president just the other day who slipped up and said the new liberal world order.
Right. It's not going to happen. As hard as they keep pushing, we're ready to push back.
Chris Purchase says, Adega, this is a global version of the Morty Holodomor that Russia implemented on the Ukraine between 1923 and 1933.
Sorry about the dogs. There was a Holodomor where they basically took over the farming and eliminated the farmers and prevented people from even using their own food. There's 13 million people starved to death. We talked about that before too. Yes. And I hope every country in the world learns to adopt that as well. And if you want a tank parked in your garage, I'm all for it.
Do you think it's going to take something global for the rest of the world to go, no, the Second Amendment was a good idea?
I don't know. Probably. They're already arming the Ukrainian citizens, which is a manufactured war. And I've talked about this before because I know that Ukraine is a bad place and it was manufactured bad by us. I have met refugees that came here before all this stink started, and they point the fingers at various politicians in our government, and I couldn't argue with them because they were manipulating Ukraine into a basically they took the democracy and turned it into a fascist state where they could money launder. And it was on both sides of the aisle. It wasn't just Democrats or, there were Republicans. All kinds of people were milking money out of the system. And Russia sitting on there seeing, all right, we know that the UN has become corrupt and they're expanding. They really weren't left with much of a choice, knowing how evil a lot of the countries in the UN are. And I've said this before, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of Russia, but I don't blame them, not one bit. So it's bad on both sides. And they started arming the Ukrainian citizens in order to defend. And that's one of the reasons through the 50s, and it's even in some of the released documents from these countries, Russia and China were working, the Soviet Union and China were working very hard to overturn the United States, and they couldn't find a viable way to do that because of the armed citizenry. Every citizen was a warrior, and they had no recourse for that. They can go mutual destruction and blow up the planet with nukes, but there was no way they could invade and not be successful. And everyone around the world knows that. And everyone around the world should have some firearms for their families.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you for bringing that up and showing us that. So I've got something a little less serious tonight. It's not a story. It is something that I've reported on in the past. It's not scary, so I'm not doing a story, not doing anything scary tonight. I'm going to be talking about your physical media and how important it is to keep a hold of your physical media. Now, we've heard this over and over. We've heard people tell us over and over again, keep a hold of your physical media. There are reasons why you will see in the future they can change things, they can edit things, they can remove things, all this stuff that they can do. But one of the more serious problems is that when you go to watch that classic on your digital storefront, it's not there. And I don't mean you can't buy it. I mean you've already bought it and suddenly it's not there. DJ Ronji with $5 Super Chat says, I believe that the existence of distinct and diverse free states will be a critical element to getting through the coming strife. Absolutely, positively agree with you, DJ Ronji. And thank you guys for your Super Chats tonight. Classic comments. DJ, Ronnie G, thank you guys so very much. You guys keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla, and this one is just for you guys. Skull! So weird hearing that through a different type of headset. That's so odd. Everything's just a little different, and things don't sound the same. So absolutely strange. I'm gonna have to tweak this thing. So Sony has removed the ability to watch Studio Canal movies like Tinker Tailor, Soldier Spy, Paddington, This Is Spinal Tap, John Wick, and Apocalypse Now from their German streaming site. Now, this doesn't mean that you cannot buy them. This means that you can't buy them, you can't watch them, you can't rent them, you can't do anything. And if you own them already, guess what? Your ability to watch them is now gone. Only confirming again. Go ahead.
Making useless noises, sorry.
Okay. Confirming again that you are renting a license to watch the movie at your leisure. You are not purchasing the actual movie from a storefront. You are warned about this with certain video games that when you buy them, you are not actually buying the game. You are purchasing a license to access that game when you want to from, let's say, Steam, the Bethesda store. I lost access to Doom Evolution. I think that's what it was, Doom Evolution, because I had gotten a code for it for the Bethesda store. Well, guess what? The Bethesda store no longer exists. And I already own it on Steam because I was like, I hate this store. I don't want anything to do with this store. And I just ended up buying it on Steam. But my ability to play that game, to download that game, was lost when the Bethesda store closed its doors. So just like that, this is what's happening to your entertainment with your movies, with your TV shows. And Sony said when they set all this up, you can keep the media forever. Well, guess what? That's not entirely true, is it? Vanessa Lee, the company's head of video business, said at the time that users would still have access to content they purchased prior to Sony's change. Yet now they can't. Vivendi-owned production company Studio Canal has financed original content such as David Lynch's 2001 film Mulholland Drive, but it was much more known for its Eurocentric films and strategic deals with American production companies to distribute Hollywood blockbusters in Europe. PlayStation did not return any request for comment, but the fact the company is rescinding effective purchases when it's once said all its users could keep the content they spent money on only proves how tenable your online ownership situation truly is. So let's say that you go to Vudu. Vudu's a big one. Why? Because so many people got Vudu codes buying their movies from Walmart. If you purchased a Blu-ray, if you purchased a DVD or a 4K video in the last 2 or 3 years from Walmart, I guarantee you got a free Vudu code where you could go online and get your digital copy. Hey, what does that mean? That means that all I have to do is pull up Vudu on my 4K TV and I can click and watch a movie, and I can keep mine safe in its case, put up on the shelf. Isn't that easy? Well, guess what? Disney owns Vudu, ladies and gentlemen. And if any of these other companies get into it hardcore with Disney and they say, you know what, we're pulling all our stuff from Vudu. We're going to pull all our stuff from your store shelves, and you're not going to be able to access it anymore. People aren't going to be able to watch it anymore. You've just lost part of your movie collection on a digital storefront. No audio.
I hear you.
Signal. Can you guys hear me?
I do.
Oh, it was me. Sorry. Okay. It's cool. No big deal, DJ Ronnie G. It's cool. Andrew, 46 and 2, who's been a member of Valhalla for 14 months and is a warrior of Asgard, says community removed D&D episode because of dark elf makeup. Once it's gone, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you have a backup. Always make sure you have a backup. Everything that is done on this channel, there's a backup of on Odyssey. Every single thing. Why? Because at any moment in time, YouTube can get sick of me and say, you're done, Loki. You're done. We're tired of you. We're tired of you bucking the norm. We're tired of your mornings of mischief. You're out, bucko. And I'm gone. So everything I've ever done has a backup over on Odyssey to prevent exactly that from happening. Because I know it can happen. Hell, it could happen for us sitting here talking about Ukraine. They could wipe us out over that. Simple as that. At their leisure, they can do whatever they want to. They don't have to ask for permission. They don't have to ask. They don't have to give me a warning. They could just be done with it and it's over. At any point in time, you can lose your entire digital media collection because a company is like, F off. We're tired of dealing with you. We don't want to deal with you. We don't want to deal with your stuff. We're tired of you having a monopoly on everything. Goodbye. We're going to come out with our own service where we sell you movies online. Keep your original collections. Your physical media is precious. Don't sell it. Don't get rid of it. If you have multiple copies of something, keep your multiple copies. Don't get rid of them on eBay because you never know what's going to happen and you're going to lose it. Just ordered a steel book from Amazon a couple of days ago, and I ordered the regular copy too, because I'm going to open the regular copy and I'm going to keep that steelbook for its looks and put it away. I don't need 2 4K copies of something, but by God, I ordered it because I want to have a backup copy just in case.
Loki has a whole big amount of storage for all the stuff he collects.
I've got a storage room behind me right now. It's a storage closet that has all of my DVDs in boxes, and we're talking mountains of DVDs. I don't keep my DVDs out. They're all boxed up, but my Blu-rays and my 4Ks are sitting in my entertainment center and the shelf next to the entertainment center, so that if I do want to watch something on physical, I have it. It's there. It's easily accessed. And most of that I have backups of.
There's something too, because I need to do this, and I'm only talking because I need to do that. Before they get too old, you take your old VCR tapes and have them converted into a DVD. That way you can keep the old and still be able to watch it without drawing it, because those old cassette tapes they'll degrade. And it doesn't matter how well you protect them. Eventually, they'll become unreadable. Somewhere down the line, I'm sure there's going to be technology that can salvage that stuff. But at this point, if you wanted to watch those old cassette tapes, it's probably best that you get them duplicated onto a DVD or a bunch of them onto a Blu-ray. But keep them. Don't lose them.
Let me, I'm going to share something with you guys. I pulled this out the other day when I was on with Pops. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It is a commercial. It's a VHS commercial. Give me just 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. And the only reason, here it is. The only reason why I have this is because it was transferred over from a VHS tape.
You want to go to the movie, but you've seen enough, and you don't want to take the kids to see. So see me at a theater nearest you where I'll be appearing and disappearing.
Daddy?
Diane, don't make me walk through this door.
Now, why do I have a commercial of Bill Cosby? Because it had a little clip from Tremors in it. It had a little clip from Tremors, and we were talking Tremors, and we were talking about how Universal hated Tremors so much that it actually used footage from the movie to make fun of it in another movie. They had much more. They believed that Ghost Dad was going to completely eclipse Tremors, and that no one would remember Tremors in 10 years, but everybody would be watching Ghost Dad. How wrong they were.
Yep.
No, absolutely no faith in their own movies. So that is why I have that clip. But that is a rare TV clip. The only way you could see that clip was on TV. And it would run on like Saturday morning cartoons, and it was run on the channel. And well, eventually we found out that Tremors actually kicked the shit out of what that they were proud of. No pudding pops for you. That's right. And if they had something in them. They were roofie pops.
If nothing else, you guys can think about this is what my wife and I consider. Some of you who follow some of the things that I do have heard here, or especially on Twitter, you notice that I'm a fan of ancient archaeology, the big stuff, the megalithic stuff. And we have so little knowledge. We have stones, we have a little bit of carvings, but there are no records of why the people built them there. And everything points that this was once upon a time a world society with various different cultures, but they all built similar. But we have no record of it. It would be nice if 1,000 years from now we had enough distributed information in various different sources that those people would know exactly who we are without having to look in bits and pieces of the Georgia Guidestone thinking these people were all apocalyptic human haters, where instead the beauty of our time, the art and the literature, the movies, the voices are kept and preserved. Loki has a massive record collection. I have a record collection. I have ancient books, old books. Keep these things when you have the opportunity, even if it's just an extra buck at a garage sale. It's worth doing because it's for not only for your benefit, but it's for the future, if nothing else.
That's right, and do not sell them, no matter how much you are tempted. Everybody's on a Stranger Things kick right now, and I was going through my albums. One of the albums I have is selling for $300 used on eBay right now. $300. Why? Because it's a limited edition that was only sold at one store, and it's almost impossible to get it now.
I have and some of you may be fans, some of you may not be. Once upon a time, before you two decided to turn to the dark side, I like them. I have a single from them that was pressed in the 80s, a Red Rock live concert, has 4 songs on it. It's in a yellow case. If you find another, you're very lucky. This thing is worth close to $1,000 in some markets. You never know. Don't let them go.
Stephen Ransom says, "Hail chat, Stone Loki Adega. So the day has come, my fears of loss to information and access. People laughed at my concerns. We have lost more to flames than we have. I've been saying this for 2 years. Don't get rid of your physical media. Don't sell it. Don't get rid of it at garage sales. Don't let the neighbor borrow it. Be stingy. Keep all your physical stuff close and don't let anything happen to it because you ain't getting any more of it."
Yeah, Dolph Wolfson, there was several different releases of bits and pieces of the Red Box. They also had a full album, but mine was a specific small collection of it's 3 or 4 songs, A and B side. And yeah, you're not going to find it anywhere. I've looked. I've got the only copy that I know of. I'm sure there's others out there, but if I was to put it on the market, I'm going to make a lot of money.
Pat S. Yes. Loki's record store. How much for this Billy Joel glass house? It's not for sale. I only have 3 of them and this shouldn't be here. Yes, absolutely. Pat S. And Cardinal Sin, brother, what is going on? Dude, a 1999 super chat. Thank you, brother. And he says, you are amazing. Thank you so much, Cardinal Sin. Thank you, brother. Seriously. Thank you very much. It was very nice of you, brother. Skull. Let me get you with the skull, brother. Let's see, what do we got here? How about some Jules Winfield skull?
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brother.
Damn straight.
And when Loki says that, he means it. He means it. Every bit of that. You're looking straight at Loki's fury.
Oh shit, I was pissed earlier too. Well, I gotta save that. I gotta save that for tomorrow, guys, for tomorrow morning. I was really pissed today. Talk about taking out kids and having scotch afterwards, smiling and laughing about it. I was so fucking pissed. You'll get my full fury and wrath tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Pod Racing Palpatine. Am I okay to let go of my Wonder Woman 84 steelbook? It's up to you. If you don't want it, if you think it's trash, if you don't really have any sentimental value towards it, if you don't want to ever see it unedited again, by all means. And yes, they can edit Blu-rays and 4Ks on a system that has memory. So if you have a 4K player or a Blu-ray player that has memory that can store an alternate cut, not the whole movie. All they have to do is tell the Blu-ray, don't play this scene instead. They can actually change what you are watching. So keep your shit off the internet.
Yep.
Keep it off
4K
of the
Blu-ray
internet.
players need to be isolated.
Chris Berger says, I know what Loki's talking about. I was pissed twice because of that episode. Yeah. Yep. Projectors, Betamax, VHS, discs. Yes. If I could find some reel-to-reel projector stuff, man, I'd be like, yeah. Rip all your physical media into files as well. Put them on a thumb drive somewhere. Loki doesn't know anything about having a mobile storage bay that may have like half of the Library of Congress on it. So I know nothing about that.
That's really weird because I think I mentioned this once before, the way they change things, because you'd be surprised how it would be done. When I was in college way back when you guys were, most of you were too small to read, I went to the Library of Congress. This was during the AIDS scare. And I pulled up, I thought, wow, this is really interesting. Look at all this stuff that they're saying about what's going on in Congress. It was a report by Dr. Fauci about how all the hospital beds will be used up and people will be thrown out, how you'll be able to get AIDS off of sneeze guards at smorgasbords or buffets or whatever you want to call them, on and on and on about this stuff. And it was right in the Library of Congress. And I gave it as a speech to class. Went back to get the resources. It was a month later. It had all been changed. And this was physical copies at the school on paper. And yet it was still changed from the Library of Congress. There are ways for them to do these things. When you have it, cherish it.
That's right. What Dave Bob says here, he is not playing around. I have everything from arcade to Nintendo to WonderSwan to Atari, all the way from the beginning of gaming to the Xbox 360 and the PS3 and the Wii. So everything from 360, Wii, PS3, all the way back to arcade, original arcades, I've got it. Everything that's ever come out game-wise. I have foreign games too that I probably will never play. Super Famicom titles, all the foreign games in different languages. I've got it all, and most of that is there for prosperity. I do not sell them. I do not share them. They are archived so that if anything ever happens, there's an archive of those games. I have that digitally saved, and I have that on hard copy. So OG Xbox games, everything I could get my hands on, everything that's ever been done, even games that do not work, that have never been emulated before, I've got it just in case.
So in other words, if you guys want any of the history, the dull, boring talks, and all that stuff from the 1600s all the way up until now, I have it. You can hear all the different presidents speak, but when you really want to be entertained, go see Loki. I'll bore you.
Oh, and speaking of entertaining, we're out of here, guys. We are out of here. We're done. Put a fork in us. We're done. I'm going to go eat dinner. I don't know what Adega is going to do, but thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for your support. We cannot do this show without you guys. Be great. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next 7 Kinds of Mischief. Take care, everybody. Hold on. Lady missed. I caught you. Loki, you said all this years ago. I listened, and all my stuff is hard copies.
She wants the hard stuff.
She listened. I've been saying this for a long time, and she listened. Make sure you get your hard copies, guys. And this one's just for you. Lady missed a little toxic masculinity or femininity. Skull! had Darius Munchausen with $1.49 super sticker eating popcorn. Thank you so very much, brother, for that $1.49 super sticker. You guys keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla, and this one's just for you, brother. We're sending out the Spartan Skull!
Spartans! What is your profession?
Damn, that like echoed in my head when they did that.
I raise
That's
my fist
crazy.
every time that thing goes on with those guys.
Yeah, raise the spears to the roofs. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to put lightsaber sounds to the Conan skull. We're out of here, guys. Take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.